Everyone tells you that your 20s are the best years of your life. And honestly, everyone is lying to you. In fact, if you're currently in your 20s and you feel like you're failing at a game where you don't even know the rules, congratulations. You're the only one being honest. This decade isn't a golden era. It's a psychological war zone that your school definitely forgot to mention. If you think you know history, this one fact will roast your entire education. The roadmap you're trying to follow was designed in 1945 for a world that literally does not exist anymore. Everyone believes you're behind, and everyone is dead wrong. And trust me, this only gets crazier. Picture this. You're a character in a massive open-world video game, but the developers forgot to give you a map, a tutorial, or even a basic inventory. You're just standing in the middle of a level called the real world, while everyone on Instagram is posting filtered screenshots of their final boss wins. This moment in science broke every rule we thought we understood about human development. Yes, humanity has done some questionable things, but convincing an entire generation they need to have their life settled before their brain is even physically finished growing. That's at the top of the list of historical pranks. Let's start with a baseline fact that your career counselor definitely skipped. The linear timeline is a total hallucination. We grew up in a structured academic loop where life happened in neat one-year increments. You finish 10th grade, you move to 11th, you finish college, you get the big job. Because of this, when we hit 24 or 26 and realize we hate our degree or we get laid off, we feel like the world is ending. But that latter is a 20th century myth. This whole graduate job marriage house sequence was popularized by the 1944 GI Bill and the post-economic boom. It was a 20-year anomaly in human history, yet we treat it like a natural law. You aren't falling behind a natural process. You're failing to replicate an economic miracle that ended in 1973. In reality, your 20s are not a performance. They are a laboratory. In a lab, if a scientist mixes two chemicals and they explode, they don't cry and say they're a failure. They write down, "Note, these two things blow up." That is a success. If you take a job at 23 and realize you want to quit every single Monday morning, you haven't wasted a year. You have successfully gathered the data point that corporate finance is not my alignment. Psychologists call this explorative sampling. In the animal kingdom, the species that explore the most different environments in their youth are the ones that survive the longest. You aren't behind. You are simply in the middle of a high-stakes research project called your life. But here's where things get weird. You'd think that achieving more things would cure this anxiety, right? That once you get the promotion or the relationship, the buzzing in your chest will finally stop. Ready for the plot twist? Achievement is actually the gasoline, not the fire extinguisher. Achievement. Addiction is a form of neurochemical self-sabotage. Most 20-somethings are gold star addicts. We've spent 2 decades being rewarded for external validation, grades, trophies, and likes. But you can achieve your way straight into a life you absolutely despise. Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar from Harvard coined this, the arrival fallacy. It's the psychological illusion that once we reach a certain destination, we will reach lasting happiness. Scientists in the 1970s studied lottery winners and found something shocking. After a few months, their happiness levels returned to nearly the same baseline as before they won. This is the hedonic treadmill. If you are chasing a promotion because you think it will fix your anxiety, you are mathematically doomed to fail. Success without alignment, that's when your daily tasks match your actual nature, is just a very expensive cage. Scientists in the 1800s tried to map the good life and realized it wasn't a trophy. It was a state of flow. And yes, humanity still hasn't learned from this. We keep buying the trophy and wondering why the room still feels empty. But this next part, this is the reason you're still watching. This is the detail even the experts argue about in dark rooms. It's the biggest lie your ego has ever told you. This is the comment section war starter, but someone has to say it. Historians still debate whether your social anxiety is a survival skill or the dumbest mistake in human history. In 1999, psychologists identified the spotlight effect. They found that people significantly overestimate how much others notice their flaws. In one famous study, they made students wear an embarrassing t-shirt and walk into a room. The students were convinced everyone was judging them. In reality, barely anyone even looked up. The provocative truth is that nobody is watching you. Your brain is running on prehistoric software. 10,000 years ago, being judged by the tribe meant being exiled and dying in the wilderness. Today, the tribe is a bunch of strangers on an app who are too busy worrying about their own credit card debt and thinning hair to think about your career pivot. The truth is messy. You have much more freedom to fail than you think. The spotlight is actually just a flashlight you're holding and pointing at your own flaws. Turn it off. The freedom to be unimportant is the only way to be brave. This is the moment everything goes wrong. Spectacularly wrong. We try to be consistent. We think we have to pick a brand at 21 and stick to it forever. If this happened in nature, the species would go extinct. If a caterpillar decided to be consistent and stay a caterpillar because it was afraid of the pivot to being a butterfly, it would die in the dirt. The most insane part of the story: we are the only animals that try to prevent our own evolution because we're afraid of what the other animals will think. We call people flaky for changing their minds. No, they're just growing. If you aren't slightly embarrassed by who you were last year, you haven't stayed true to yourself. You've just stopped growing. Consistency is a trait for your 40s. Curiosity is the only trait that matters right now. But here's the part almost nobody notices. And this tiny detail changes everything you think you know about your own sanity. The real reason your 20s are a mess isn't heroic. It's embarrassing. It's because your brain isn't actually finished. Modern neuroscience shows that the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for executive function and long-term planning, doesn't fully bake until you're at least 25 or 26. You are literally trying to make forever decisions about your soul and your career with an under-construction brain. Humans didn't evolve because we were smart planners. We evolved because we were desperate and survived through sheer panic and bad decisions. Your 20s are the rough draft phase of your personal evolution. A draft isn't supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to get ideas on the page. You are allowed to delete entire paragraphs of your life. You are allowed to change the ending. The hidden truth is that you aren't failing. You're just an iPhone trying to run iOS 18 while your internal hardware is still being soldered in the factory. Basically, humanity survived through accidental chaos, and you will too. So the next time someone says history is boring or that your 20s are supposed to be the best years, Remind them that science proves otherwise. You aren't behind, you aren't broken, and nobody is actually judging you as hard as you're judging yourself. Stop trying to be a final copy when you're still in the factory. Be messy, be curious. Fail often, but fail forward. If you want even crazier facts like this, just wait for the next one.